AC Gruarin. Okay. Good thing we get to redo that because I was going to ask you before the show. I just didn't.
It's no big deal. That was the test run.
Hold on. My seat is like very low.
The following podcast is recorded and produced by Emerge, a media creators co-op, in affiliation with the network at bicbp-radio.com.
Hello and welcome to episode 62 of the Big Yak Podcast. It is I, Mike Pareto, alongside me as always, Nico Salambeni, and we have a special guest today. We have Casey Gruarin on the show today. How are you, Casey?
What's going on, gentlemen? Glad to be here in this beautiful studio. Thanks for having me on your podcast today.
Thank you for coming on.
Casey,
tell us a little bit about yourself to whoever doesn't know who you are, anything like that.
So for those that don't know me, I would say the big reason that I'm here and for podcasts and things like that is I'm a big baseball guy. Grew up playing baseball my whole life. Played baseball in college. I do a lot of like fantasy baseball, DFS stuff, and things like that. And then I would say the other big reason that I'm here is for fantasy football. So fantasy football is probably my biggest passion. Just studying players and the research and the data and the analysis of it all. I would say fantasy football is like my big strength. So currently right now I write articles for playerprofiler.com if anybody out there has ever heard of that. They're a great website. Highly recommend them for all your fantasy stuff if you're looking into that.
All right. You're actually our second guest who is a baseball instructor. We have Nico's relative.
I was asking about that pre-show.
Yeah, Coach Todd. Yeah, Coach Todd, yeah.
One of my dad's trainers over at Village Fitness
Do you
Club.
guys know? Does he know Coach Todd? Did you ask about
We probably know of each other.
Oh, okay.
So Coach Todd, where he helps work right now, it's called Gronk Nation Baseball.
Yep.
So Gronk Nation, I coach the it's like 17U, the showcase team. So we kind of, we see each other in passing at the facility and things like that. So, yeah, that's part of what I do. I work at Hot Corner Athletics. It's a baseball training facility here in Lockport in Western New York. And then I do that Gronk Nation travel baseball like during the summer.
Have you met Rob Gronkowski yet?
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
Yes.
How was meeting him? Because I've heard he is like he could either be like a crazy, partier kind of guy, or he's actually, sometimes
He's
reserved.
a really cool dude.
Yeah.
So last year, Gronk Nation, I'm not going to give a huge background on, but I'd say last summer probably had like 10-ish teams, from like 8 and under up to 17 and under. And the Gronk Foundation, sponsors money to the program. So last year, Gronk came out. It was a big, huge deal. He came to Niagara Falls High School. You guys have seen the new.
I remember that happening. Yeah.
Yeah. So they have the brand new turf fields there. He came to the baseball field. So all the kids came out, all the teams, and all the uniforms and stuff. And Gronk comes out. Like I think one of his brothers was there and his dad, and like everything you see on TV about Gronk, like that's exactly who he is.
Oh yes.
Yeah, for sure. Like that guy's got a heart of gold. You know what I mean? Like he's just out there like high-fiving every single kid. Like he wouldn't leave until he talked to every kid. He was signing stuff for everybody. They did a little home run derby for him. So they set up like a pitching machine. And, they fed the machine, put the balls in the machine. This guy was hitting balls like 350 plus. He probably hasn't swung a baseball bat, in years.
Right.
He probably only does like celebrity softball events and things like that. So he's like crushing balls over the fence. And then the one he hits, he crushes one like into the tennis courts, probably like 350, like bat flips, running around the bases, like, dancing, doing all this stuff, like all this funny stuff with his arms. And the kids are running around the bases with him, and he's high-fiving. He does a little dance at home plate. So it was cool meeting Gronk. Like, for sure, whatever you see on TV, like, hands down, he's a great dude from what I saw from talking to him. He's a great dude. He really does care about, like, giving back to the community and things like that.
That's awesome. Dope. Yeah, that's dope. What inspired you to make the fantasy football kits?
So fantasy football, I guess I've been doing it since I was like 13 years old. I'm probably like 25 now. And when I got to the end of college, I really fell in love with, I moved away from like being the athlete my whole life and kind of switched to the other role, the other side of it. And said like, I want to get into like coaching and, studying and research and data and things like that. I'm a huge data and analytics guy. I look at data like all day, baseball, hockey, basketball, whatever, football, all of it, just for the pure fun of the research. So me and one of my best friends, like, is it cool if I shout him out? On
Yeah,
here?
Oh, yeah,
totally.
sure.
So me and one of my best friends, Tommy Watroba.
Shout out Tommy.
You know Tommy?
No,
Oh,
but shout out to him.
Shout out, yeah,
Shout out to Tommy Watroba. Like, Tommy Watroba is probably, smarter than me at most of this stuff, but we just collaborate on everything. Like, him and I are talking every day about this player, that player, X player. So honestly, just for the research part of it, for us making like a draft kit to help other people, and it helps us do our own research. So like while we're doing all this research to compile this draft kit, we're helping our own research for the season. And fantasy football, whether you're in your work league or your coworkers or anything or your buddies, you want to win.
There's money involved,
Right,
and there's bragging rights
100%,
involved. Yeah.
100%. There's money involved. There's bragging rights involved, and you want to win. If you don't know what you're doing in fantasy, you're going to look like a fool in front of your friends. and your
Exactly.
coworkers.
No one wants to be the taco.
No, right. No, you don't want to be the taco. That's a great reference for the league. Huge fan of that show. Love that show.
Are you? How many leagues are you in right now? Like, would you say?
I probably do around 5, like redraft. You guys do best ball at all?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Me, not so much.
No.
I have 1 or 2 best ball leagues. I'm not like I just got into it this year, so we're partnered with Underdog Fantasy, so we're automatically like we're all in that. So
Yeah.
yes.
I should say, with Underdog and our sponsorship, I'm involved there, but not like local leagues or anything.
Right. Yeah. So I'm just getting into it this year. It's definitely like it's very fast. Like some of those drafts you go in, they're like boom, 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 boom. You really got to be on your toes, or you will get skipped.
Right. No, I love best ball. Best ball is cool, especially on Underdog. They have like the Best Ball Mania where you can win $1 million. So best ball's cool. I think best ball might be my favorite fantasy thing to do. You draft 50, 75, 100. You can draft as many teams as you want, enter in all these tournaments, and it's just fun. Like, every week and during the season, I can go look at 100 different teams, and it's like, well, this one's in first, and this one stunk, and it's cool. And the best part about best ball is like you don't got to worry about setting your lineup and things like that. It just sets itself automatically. So yeah, best ball is legit. Definitely get into best ball for anybody out there that hasn't started best ball yet.
Shout out Underdog.
Right. Yeah, shout out Underdog.
Yeah.
But yeah, with the draft kit, so I think this was our 3rd one we did. So we started doing it, and we just said like, hey, why don't we just throw all of our research and all of our data that we're already doing from the off season into a draft kit? We'll give it to people. And the first year we did it, it was a pretty big hit. We probably got like almost close to 100 people that wanted it.
Wow.
We gave it out for free. The second year we gave it out for free. This year we did it for like $5 just for the labor of it.
Yeah.
It's a lot of hours of work. It's a lot of hours of research. There's a lot that goes into it. We're already into the season now, so it's kind of late to, give it out now. But, there's everything in there. We do like rankings and sleepers and things like that. We have bold predictions, fade lists, flag plant players, all that sort of things.
Have you had any hits already so far this season? Any
We
highlights on the draft kit?
So Tommy and I were really big Kyron Williams fans.
All right.
Okay.
Right. So
That's
Cam
now
Akers-
RB1.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, Cam Akers just got traded to the Vikings, if you guys saw that.
Yep.
Right. So, yeah, we were big on Kyron Williams. We can get into more, like, fantasy, like team construction and roster construction and things like that later if you guys want.
Great.
Tommy personally was a big Puka Nacua guy. He's got him in, like, all of our leagues that we play in together.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Puka. Those are probably the 2 biggest ones because those are probably the 2 biggest hits. But
Yeah. That's we'll go into further detail later on, but in one of my moves this past week, I was able to flip Puka Nacua for a mid-2024 first. 1-for-1 straight up.
Yeah,
Which
that's a steal.
that's unreal. The
that
hype
was in
around
your
him-
dynasty. Yeah,
Yep,
yeah,
that was
yeah.
in my dynasty league. Yeah,
That was
So
crazy. I was
that's-
sitting there. I'm like, what?
I had him sitting on my taxi squad week 1. I elevated him week 2, traded him week 3. It was
That's fantastic.
that's exactly what you want out of your rookie 4th round picks, 5th round picks.
100%.
Stack up that talent. But that's awesome. Great job scoring Kyron Williams, Puka Nacua. I mean, those are highlights, and those are reasons why people should tune in next year to see your draft kit when that comes out.
For sure, yeah. We've had some other ones too. Those are just the biggest ones. I think the big thing with like fantasy and you do all this draft kit stuff is flipping your roster as soon as you see, like, okay, this player isn't doing very well. Or, hey, like, my draft wasn't that good. Like, maybe I got to start making trades and, like, churning my bench spots and adding some other guys. And that's a big part of it, too.
We're going to talk a little bit about, the Rams wide receiver room. I'm not going to say when, but we're going to talk about it at some point. But, yeah, let's go on to the rest of our show. Some NFL headlines around the league. First off, before the show aired, Cam Akers to Minnesota for a 2026 draft pick.
It was, I think it was a conditional 7th. I think that's what it ended up being.
Dude's like a freshman in college.
Yeah.
There's got to be, like, I don't know if he wasn't a hard worker or there's got to be something.
There's something there.
There was a disconnect, and we talked about this on the show like a week or two ago. I'm like, does Sean McVay just hate Cam Akers, or do they just not get along with each other? Nothing has come out internally, which is a good thing. But it really kind of begs the question: what really is going on behind closed doors with Cam Akers? And hey, sometimes guys just aren't fits. Maybe he'll have a resurgence over in Minnesota. I mean, that's a high-powered offense, and it fits well with Alexander Mattison not being as efficient as the Vikings, I'm sure, would want him to be.
Right.
So, hey, we'll see.
Yeah.
I'd love Cam Akers out of Florida State, too. I thought he
Yeah.
was a good player. I thought he was good. I don't really know what happened. And
Right.
that was, like,
In week 1, he had a fantastic week 1.
Right.
And then out of nowhere, healthy scratch week 2.
Yeah, that's
Riddle me
the
that.
thing with like Kyron Williams in fantasy is like we already know that the coach like doesn't like this guy.
Yeah.
So like why not take a shot in in the last round of your draft on the other guy?
Especially in redraft. I mean, you're getting him for free. Like, you could get him in the 15th round if your league even had a 15th round, or you could pick him up at waivers after the draft. One of those guys that you maybe draft and then stash on injured reserve, that's Kyron Williams is the perfect candidate for a pickup there.
Right.
So,
And my best ball teams that are doing well right now are like Rams and Buccaneers.
that's awesome.
Buccaneers are a big surprise
Like
team.
in a random draft,
Yeah.
I just ended up with Matt Stafford and Baker Mayfield and Evans and Godwin and Puka and Kyron Williams and like
That's probably your top league right now, right?
In your head, that's like, oh my gosh, that was the crappiest one I've ever done, and then it ends up being like the in first place right now.
Yeah. Nick Chubb suffers devastating knee injury. I don't know if you guys watched the game Monday night or not, but that was
tough
one
to
of the worst injuries I've seen in a long time, probably since his last injury when he was at Georgia. It was just really tough to see. It's one of those injuries that, like, some injuries you could watch the replay and it's like, all right, it's bad. You could stomach it though, but this was one of those injuries where like you saw that and it made you queasy.
Yeah.
Like it was just.
It looked like, if you went down and did a lunge, but your leg was like backwards
The other
Yeah.
way.
Yeah. Honestly though, like if there's any human being on earth that could come back from that, it's definitely Nick Chubb.
He's Superman.
Right. Yeah. He's a freak. Like
Yeah.
he squats like 800 plus pounds.
You see, every year a new video of him squatting comes out where the bar's bending and
He's a freak.
Yeah, no, thoughts up to him and prayers for a swift recovery. But that's a tough loss for Cleveland.
Yeah.
For sure. Jerome Ford though in fantasy. Jerome Ford.
He
if you missed him on waivers, try and trade for him. If you're one of those people that saw the Hunt signing and you think Kareem Hunt's gonna be a big guy, go trade for Jerome Ford.
Yeah.
we agree there.
That's where I was going with next was Kareem Hunt signing with the Cleveland Browns, 1 year, $4 million deal. Right now, I believe this morning, Jerome Ford was officially named the starter going forward. Kareem Hunt, here's the thing. To people who are worried about that, as you said, he's been unemployed up to this point. So, he's not just going to come in and just, hey, I'm taking the starting job.
back. Yeah.
No, I mean, Cleveland picked him, didn't resign him for a reason, didn't bring him back in training camp. They really like Jerome Ford. So, to anybody who spent all that money on Jerome Ford with your fab dollars, don't worry.
get buyer's remorse just yet.
Yeah.
I really kind of see this year at least turning into a Ramondre and Zeke type room, where Zeke kind of fills in on pass catching downs or maybe some pass pro. But I mean, Kareem Hunt, one of his top skills is his pass catching ability, and I feel like we're going to see him much more in a complementary role to Jerome Ford.
Yep.
For sure.
Next, we have Joe Burrow and the Bengals dropped to 0-2. Joe Burrow still struggling with that calf injury he suffered during training camp. I mean, it's a little concerning. For a fantasy standpoint, Joe Burrow had that 4-point outing week 1. Last week, he bounces back, puts up roughly about 20, depending on what kind of league you're in. Still just not playing to what Joe Burrow should be playing with that new contract. We'll see going forward. I mean, it's just, the Bengals always start off a little bit slow.
Didn't they start 0-3 last year?
Yeah.
They always figure it out. I don't know what they
Went
do.
to the AFC Championship. They were the only. I saw a stat. They were the only team to start 0-2 to make the playoffs, and they went all the way to the AFC Championship game.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
I was talking to one of my buddies the other day, and we were like, the Bengals are good against every team in the league except for their own division.
Yeah.
Like, somehow they win their division every year, but they can't beat their division. You know what I mean? Like, the Baltimore D-line against the Bengals O-line just dominates them. Myles Garrett dominates the Bengals offensive line.
The Browns have their number. Oh my goodness, the Browns specifically has Joe Burrow's number.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's like a trend, and maybe we got to start factoring that in.
It's like a mental thing.
And things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Buffalo Bills bounce back after their Week 1 little collapse to the Jets. They bounced back, and they handed it to the Las Vegas Raiders this past week.
Josh Allen won AFC Offensive Player of the Week.
Offensive Player of the Week.
He's back.
Really?
Yeah. Buffalo
Really?
is back.
did.
Over Russell Wilson?
Yep.
Because they lost
Yeah.
the Broncos?
It's probably literally because they lost.
Yeah.
I mean, he had 360
He had
yards,
an
3
unreal.
touchdowns,
Had the Hail Mary.
50 rushing yards.
Yeah. So Josh Allen, AFC Offensive Player of the Week. Bills now 1-1. They travel to Washington to face the 2-0 Washington Commanders.
I wish I placed this bet last year. The Washington Commanders look good this year.
That's where I'm going with next.
Asterisk.
Asterisk. That's where I'm going with next. Washington is 2-0. Tampa Bay Buccaneers 2-0. Let's talk about that. Who saw that coming?
Oh my
Probably nobody.
goodness.
So, some of the people that I follow in the fantasy space and the NFL space. So the Bucs this year, their offensive coordinator was the quarterback's coach forever in Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
So people were saying hey, it's going to be like Seattle this year with Mayfield. I think it's Seattle all that time. They really only ever use 2 receivers exclusively. They use 1 running back exclusively. They rotate in some tight ends, and they signed that guy. And then people that I follow were starting to just some rumblings hey, don't sleep on the Buccaneers. Mike Evans is playing for a contract.
Yep.
Yeah,
Godwin's
he's hungry.
another year off the ACL tear.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, don't sleep on these guys. Rashad White's a pretty good player. I think they drafted an offensive guard in the 2nd round. That's pretty good.
Yep.
And once you look at it from a big picture point of view, you're wow, they really don't have a bad roster.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like they dumped everyone from the Super Bowl.
Well, that's the
team.
thing. They're only 2 years removed from a Super Bowl team, and that offensive line, they lost Ali Marpet, but you know what? Like you said, they backed it up with a really good guard in the 2nd round, and that offensive line is still it's a great line. And we're finally seeing what Baker Mayfield looks like with a good offensive line and good playmakers around him.
Yeah, I mean, he's never going to be, elite, but at 250-yard, 2 touchdown, no turnover, you'll take that all.
That's all you need.
When you have the offensive talent like that, you just need to be an elite game manager. You don't need to be super special.
Yeah. I don't know. Shame on everyone who doubted Mike Evans going for 1,000 again.
Right.
I got him in the
First
9th
ballot
round in one league.
I got him in the
Unreal.
10th and actually one round steal.
That's
That guy's
unreal.
going straight to the Hall.
Oh, agree.
yeah.
Totally.
I agree. Chicago. Let's talk about this.
Where do you start?
First bit of news we get: Justin Fields quarterback drama. Low-key blaming the coaching, for his struggles in last week's game versus the Tampa Bay Bucks. And then the Chicago D coordinator resigns.
Steps down, and there were rumors.
And then he gets his house searched by the FBI.
So that was a rumor.
Yeah.
Then there was also another rumor that the FBI raided Halal or what is it, Halas Arena, or their headquarters, Bears headquarters.
What in the world?
Yeah, it's a whole mess going down in Chicago. But I guess the rumors about the FBI going to the Bears headquarters weren't true. But there is still some left to be determined on if the police searched through former defensive coordinator's home.
I heard that they did. That's what I heard. I don't know if it's confirmed yet, but I heard they found some stuff. They don't want to, admit or put out to the public, but I heard he is not going to be coaching the game of football ever again.
That might be a good thing. Their defense is terrible.
Yeah. I had in my group chat, Skylar was like, yeah, maybe that was a good thing because he should have got arrested
Save
for
some
that
embarrassment.
defense.
Yeah, I mean, I hope he didn't do some messed up stuff. But, hopefully, but your defense might be better without him.
The 85 Bears are just rolling in their grave right now.
Seriously.
Isn't that
I know.
great?
It's like it's so hard to look at the Bears and be like, their defense is terrible.
Yeah.
And then after 2 weeks, I'm like, yep, if you're playing the Bears, like you're going in my fantasy lineup, my DFS lineup, everything. You're just going in the lineup if you're playing the Bears that week.
Oh, and by the way, they have the Chiefs this week.
Good luck. Good luck, Charlie. Like, and lastly, we keep talking about on the show the last 2 weeks, the Colorado Buffaloes, Deion Sanders and company, keep on rolling. They edged out a overtime win over Colorado State. I watched that game till almost 2 in the morning, and let me tell you, that game was electric.
Remember how I said we don't really do much college football on this show?
Oh, you gotta
It's
talk
Colorado
about
is
Coach Prime.
Colorado is an,
You
is an
have to talk
exception.
about it. You have to. You have
That's
to.
America's team.
That's right. That is right.
You take a look at who was all at that game, dude. It was so many like
They had
media
Lil Wayne.
personality. Lil Wayne.
Little
rocked
Wayne
with
ran
them.
out with them.
Seriously?
Yeah, he
In
did.
the pregame.
He was at the pregame, and then he ran out with them, and he was performing a song as he was running out.
That's
Not running out, but
fantastic.
walking out.
That's incredible.
Yeah, so Colorado
It's
Buffaloes.
turning into like a celebrity event.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Rock was there too. I mean,
Everybody
he
was
gave
there,
he
man.
gave the Buffaloes a pregame speech.
Did you
Yeah.
guys see the Shadir Sanders like post game where like him and Tom Brady just like,
Yes.
text all the time?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Like,
they're buddies.
Okay, you're a quarterback in college and you're just getting advice from Tom Brady
Yeah.
every day.
Yeah.
Wow.
And your dad is an NFL, Deion Sanders, an NFL legend.
You're handed like two of the greatest gifts of coaches ever.
He's on a good path right now,
Yeah.
for sure. So that's all we have for NFL headlines and news. Let's go on to the 2-minute drill.
We are back.
We are back. This is the second rendition so far this season. Casey LaFleur last week got 38 seconds. So, Casey, we're gonna put you through the ringer.
All right.
It's not gonna be too bad. Don't worry.
Is this the second time? So was last time the first time you guys?
This was that
Just this season.
for season 2. You'll be the second appearance of
Is
the
38
2-minute
like
drill.
a great one, an average one.
That was probably one of the best we've ever
That's-
had.
I'm not,
No
I'm
pressure.
gonna shoot for second place in the second one.
Alrighty. So are you ready, Nico?
Yeah.
Do you want to fire off first? Do you want me
Yeah.
to go first?
So the clock is going to start after I complete the first prompt. So after I stop talking is when your clock starts, so you don't have to get penalized for me talking. So as soon as I go, you go, and then Mike and I will go back and forth asking you questions.
Okay.
So starting, is everyone ready?
We're ready.
All right.
I have no prior knowledge of these questions, so
All right. Welcome to the 2-minute drill. Should Chicago move on from Justin Fields after everything that came out this week?
no, definitely not. He's got good weapons still. They drafted a first-round offensive tackle. No, give him a chance.
All right. We touched about it a little bit just a moment ago. Does Nick Chubb play football again after his injury?
Yes, 100%. That guy's a superhuman. We already talked about that earlier. Superhero.
Are the Yankees cooked, or will they bounce back next season?
The Yankees are definitely cooked until they start rebuilding and getting some younger players in there.
Ooh, okay. Will Cooper Kupp retain his top 5 wide receiver status when he returns?
Yes.
Should Bengals fans be worried about their 0-2 start?
No, they started 0-3 last year. They'll be back. You've got to finish better than you start in the NFL.
Last question. Best wings in Buffalo? Western New York.
Elmo's.
Elmo's.
44.65. Write it down.
All right.
That's solid. That's a solid.
Second place right now.
I didn't know whether to get into some analysis or go for the time.
That's the
I was
thing,
like,
you don't know.
There's
oh,
some
it's gonna
strategy
come
here.
between-
Yeah.
Some people can't help saying what they need to
I
say.
forget. We had I don't even remember who the guest was last season. This is why we started tracking them. We were at like 2.5, 3 minutes because they were analyzing everything.
Yeah, like the cup question, the Fields question.
Yeah.
The Fields question you can go for 10 minutes about. and
Yeah,
it could've just
that's
been
a whole
no,
segment,
yes, right, exactly. So for future guests, you gotta consider the time versus the explanation.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty, so KCG, 44.65 seconds.
Nice.
That's second place right now on our leaderboard.
That's a formidable top 2.
Second place out of 2, I'll take it.
Hopefully you stay on there as the guest.
We'll have to see. We got a reveal for our next guest next week. Big one. Joe Goodberry from Cincinnati. He covers Cincinnati Bengals. He's a pretty cool name over there, doing a lot of big things in Cincinnati. He will be joining us in studio next week, and we'll see how he compares in the 2-minute drill.
Better be ready.
Answer yes or no.
You better be ready. We're gonna go on to our Underdog Pick 5.
Ready to get paid?
I'm ready to get paid.
So Mike and I are proud to be partnering with Underdog Sports, Underdog Fantasy, our favorite place to play fantasy games. You got to check out their new Pick'em. It's so easy to play. Just pick 2 to 5 stats of your favorite players and choose whether they'll go higher or lower than that. You can go to up to 20 times your money by going 5 for 5. Does that sound like fun? Download their app and sign up today using our code BIGYAC.
BIGYAC.
B-A-G. You got to do it. You got to do it.
I got to do it.
BIGYAC to get your first deposit of up to $100 matched. We cannot wait to see your entries.
Big Yak. Code Big Yak. All right. First, I want to say there's another 100K Sunday Underdog is offering. Tyreek Hill, higher or lower than 91.5 total yards. Miami face Denver's this Sunday, 1 o'clock kickoff. So if you guys want to participate in that, I have a chance to win $100,000 this Sunday. So, take a look at that. And then also, Daniel Jones has a pick'em square of 0.5 total yards higher or lower at San Francisco.
He just needs 1 yard.
Just need 1.
Is it possible?
We've seen this fail already this year.
It's 1 for 2.
Yeah, so automatically I'm going to take that.
Now, remember, you can only do one or the other with these featured bets,
Yeah.
these featured plays. You can only do Tyreek Hill. You can play in that one, or you can play in the free square. So keep that in mind to everyone as they continue on with their pick'ems.
Alrighty. Nico, do you have one ready, or are you?
Why don't you take it away?
Take it away. All right. So first, instead of doing the 100K Sunday, I do like the Tyreek Hill yards. I don't know if he surpassed 91 last week though, and that was against New England. Denver, he might be going up against Pat Surtain a lot. That's a little concerning. So I'm going to stay away from that right now. So I'm going to take the free Daniel Jones 0.5 total yards square. Give me Christian McCaffrey higher than 78.5 rushing yards. I think he runs over this Giants defense respectfully.
I agree.
Respectfully. Give me Deebo Samuel higher than 14.5 rushing yards. I think, he still is that running receiver, not as much as we saw 2 years ago, but 14.5 rushing yards. I think he could take a jet sweeper and end around for a nice 15-yard gain and give me some money. Give me Keenan Allen higher than 74.5 receiving yards. Keenan Allen has been killing it. So he had a 32-point game last week. I faced him in 3 leagues, got smoked. So Keenan Allen, 74.5 receiving yards. Give me Justin Jefferson higher than 102.5 receiving yards.
Wow.
And that is my. I think Justin Jefferson bounces back. It is against the Chargers. I am not sold on the Chargers
There are going
defense.
to be a lot of points that game.
I'm not sold on the Chargers defense. J.C. Jackson, just not the biggest fan of him. I don't know how you guys feel, but if he's going up against Justin Jettas, I think he's gonna get a little smoked. So that's my underdog pick 5. Nico?
Alrighty. I'm actually going to take the lower on Tyreek Hill's 91.5 total yards.
Yeah.
He's going to be locked up against Pat Surtain, so this is going to be a really tough matchup for him. Christian Gonzalez held him to a modest game too last week, so I'm going to take the lower here, and that's probably going to come back and bite me.
That's the thing. You could it's either higher, like it's either gonna. It's tough because Tyreek Hill can either explode or there's games where he kind of just has like a decent.
Or it's a Jalen Waddle type game. That's the thing. So, my gut.
Getting cooked by number 2 receivers.
Yeah.
Denver.
Yeah.
Jalen Waddle's a
game
huge
incoming?
play. Yeah. Up next, I got Daniel Jones higher than 19.5 completions. I think there's going to be a lot of throwing and a lot of catch-up in this San Francisco game. So I can see him probably throwing 35 passes this game and probably completing. I'd say 25 or 35 was going to be my guess. Dicker the kicker, Cameron Dicker, higher than 2.5 extra points made. Like I said, this is going to be a really high-scoring game. This is probably going to be the highest-scoring game of the week. So I have a feeling that I could see over 5 touchdowns in this game across both teams. Probably more like 6 or 7.
Yep.
Up next, give me Isaiah Hodgins higher than 31.5 receiving yards. New York doesn't really have much of an identity right now in their passing offense. Darren Waller was kind of brought in to be that number one guy, but
He's been
it's still
lackluster.
exactly. It hasn't been up to expectations from the offseason. So they're still trying to find that go-to guy. Jalen Hyatt's still coming along. Darius Slayton, he always just seems to be around, but I think Isaiah Hodgins, they have something there. So give me higher that. And then lastly, Brock Purdy, higher than 1.5 passing touchdowns. It's something crazy, like the 10 games that he's started. I think it's like 8 of them where he's thrown at least 2 passing touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
So this is almost like a give me to me. This is almost as automatic as a Christian McCaffrey anytime touchdown.
Yeah.
So give me Brock Purdy higher than 1.5 passing touchdowns, and that is my pick 5.
All right. So that was both of our Underdog Pick 5s. We're going to move on to some more sports betting real quick. We are going to do Take It to the Bank. We're going to take some things to the bank. Nico, do you have a parlay of the week by chance?
That I do.
All right.
I got my weekly parlay. If you guys are ready for it, it's a modest one. It's a modest one for sure. Starting with Daniel Jones. This is another Thursday night play, so get these in before tomorrow night because everything is in this one. Give me Daniel Jones over 1.5 passing touchdowns. Like I said from the last one, there's going to be a lot of catch up in this game. I feel like the Niners are going to get off to an early lead, and Daniel Jones will probably have quite a bit of garbage time. So I like him throwing at least 2 touchdowns this game. Christian McCaffrey, anytime touchdown. Give me that. That's automatic. That is easy. And then, like I was kind of saying from there, my last leg of this is San Francisco 49ers minus 10.5. I think they cover the spread here. Good teams win, great teams cover, and San Francisco is looking great this year. If you were to place this right now, you would be looking at a plus 902 odds here. So, that being said, you put $10 down, you're getting $90 in winnings.
It's pretty
There's
good
my,
return, man.
There's my parlay of the week.
Send it.
Casey,
Full
do you
send.
do sports betting?
Yeah,
Yeah?
I do. Not huge.
Okay.
I do it. I don't do a lot of it. I just do the research of it and say like, all right, these are probably good plays, bad plays.
Gotcha.
I do have some written down. If you want me to share some of them.
Yeah,
Let's
for
hear it.
sure.
I don't have the exact like props. They're kind of just guys that have good matchups.
Yeah.
I had CMC over yards.
Easy.
The Giants got cooked on the ground last week, so I think he's gonna have a big game. That's obvious. If Eckler's out, I'd bet the over for both Chargers wide receivers.
Mhm.
I honestly I feel bad saying this, but every time Eckler is like not in the offense, Herbert's so much better when he's not checking it down. He's actually throwing it to the receivers.
Yep.
I mean, they lost last week, but still, like Mike Williams had a great game. Keenan Allen had a great game. Every time they're not dumping it off for 1 yard, like Herbert's pushing the ball down the field. So if Eckler doesn't play, he didn't practice again today. I would definitely lock in the Chargers receivers.
Those, just to not to cut you off, but those current props are at Keenan Allen 75.5 and Mike Williams 62.5.
Yeah, I'd probably take both of them. Yeah, I think I would take both of those odds for sure. I have ETN smash game this week. ETN either anytime touchdown scorer or over yards.
Awesome.
ETN should smash against Houston.
Yep.
Little bounce back game for the Jaguars. People are starting to question if they really are that good or not because they didn't really do anything against the Chiefs. But ETN, I'm a huge ETN guy. One of my bold predictions in fantasy this year was ETN was going to be a top 5 running back. Bet on the Bucs passing game again. So they play Philly this week on Monday night. Philly defensive line really shuts down the run game. Definitely bet on all those guys. The good part about the Bucs is they have a very condensed passing game. So you got Evans, you got Godwin, you got White, and you got Cade Otton. Cade Otton's a good one. He plays almost every snap for them. Had 6 catches last week. Cade Otton's a really good underdog kind of guy. If you need to pick up in fantasy, a tight end streamer, he's a good one this week.
Okay.
Zay Flowers over receiving yards if Odell doesn't play. Jameer Gibbs over receiving yards. Montgomery's going to be out. Kenneth Walker over rushing yards. He should smash this week. I think they play Carolina. They get beat on the ground pretty good. Drake London over yards. Atlanta's going to have to pass this week. Vikings wide receivers passing game smash against the Chargers.
Yep.
Keep betting on them. Kirk Cousins, Jefferson. You guys mentioned Jefferson over yards again, over 100-plus yards. And Addison for sure, and Hawkinson. Pacheco over yards. Who's Who do they play this week? The Chiefs.
The
Chicago.
Chiefs are Chicago.
Oh, yeah,
This
Chicago.
is easy.
Yeah. Pacheco's gonna rip them for probably 70+ yards, 80+ yards. Hopefully he scores. I know he hasn't scored yet, but I hope he gets in the end zone this week. I would bet the over rushing yards there, not the anytime, just the rushing yards there. Kyron Williams should smash this week on the ground. We talked about Jalen Waddle going over receiving yards if he plays this week because of the Surtain thing.
Yep.
And then the last one I had was Michael Pittman over yards and receptions this week. If Minshew plays, Minshew is a lot more likely to air it out to the wide receivers
Totally.
instead of
I agree.
Richardson, tucking it and running it.
All right.
I'm also a big Minshew fan.
Yeah.
I like
Minshew-mania.
Minshew. I think Minshew.
He
is a
could
borderline
start.
Starter.
He could start on a quarterback. He could be a starting quarterback on an NFL team.
Michael
hands
Pittman, unquestioned alpha in the offense, unquestioned target earner there. There's nobody else stealing targets away from him.
No.
He could. This week he could realistically 12, 13, 14 targets.
Totally.
7, 8 receptions.
All right. All right, so I got a little nothing big, just probably I got a 4-leg parlay coming at you live right here.
Yo.
Last week I bet Seattle to upset the Detroit Lions. And
Everyone write this down.
we cashed
Open up
it
the
in.
crystal ball, Mike.
Cashed it in. Right now, the Tennessee Titans are plus 140 underdogs. So I'm going to take the Tennessee Titans to upset the Cleveland Browns. They looked good against the Chargers last week. They won in overtime. So give me Tennessee upsetting there. Cleveland's 3.5-point favorites for this game. I don't like what I saw from Deshaun Watson these past 2 weeks. Even I'll go even to say this. I don't like what I've seen from Deshaun Watson since he came to Cleveland.
I don't like what I've seen from Deshaun Watson in the past 2 years.
Right.
I
got what
you.
you-
Devil's advocate here.
Yeah, let's hear it.
I'm
Let's hear it.
buying Deshaun in fantasy.
Yeah?
Oh yeah.
I think when guys like Chubb get hurt, they have to. They can't. As a play caller, you can't just be like, "All right, we got Chubb. We're giving it to Chubb." Like now, you got to actually call some plays and you got to draw some things up, and you can't just hand it off and run for 5 yards every play. Like now, you got to create something in the passing game.
That's
I
true.
think without Chubb, you don't rely on that crutch of Nick Chubb, where it's just like, all right, we got Chubb, we're gonna give him the ball.
I mean, they didn't pay him $160 million for nothing.
right.
Right, and we've seen guys before, like Andrew Luck, that was out for a while. That it takes a while. The
Yep.
NFL's hard. It's a fast game. You guys are killing each other every day. It takes time to get back to that game speed. I think he's gonna get there.
Do you got a bold prediction for this game?
For Tennessee and Cleveland,
Yeah.
bold.
You pull it right out of your pocket.
I don't think either of these teams are anything worth bold. I don't even know what I would consider bold for this game.
Yeah.
Amari Cooper smash game, I guess.
Right.
While the weather is still nice in Cleveland before it gets terrible there.
Mm-hmm.
I guess Amari Cooper smash game. Now that they're gonna have to rely on the passing game a little bit more.
Okay.
If all these guys, if Chubb's hurt, they're gonna have to say, all right, Deshaun, like we're paying you all this money, like it's time to go.
Yeah.
Right.
Jerome Ford, it's only his second year, I think.
Mhm.
He's just now becoming a starting running back. So they can't rely on the run game as heavy. It's going to have to go on Deshaun's shoulders a little bit more.
Yeah. I'm
Good take.
still though. I'm just not a Deshaun Watson. What I saw last week was just like the face mask penalties. Like 2 face mask penalties on one player is kind of like, all right, come on, man. But 2 face mask quarterback penalties, you don't even see them get one.
No.
Yeah,
Remember when
2.
Josh Allen got called for one a year or two back?
Yeah.
And everyone lost their minds because they're like, when does a quarterback get a face mask call?
Yeah.
2 of them. And speaking of Deshaun, did you see the press conference after the game? You know how he like pushed that official?
Yeah.
During the press conference, he was like, I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't do that. I have no recollection.
They got to be. You guys swear on here?
Yeah. No.
Those guys got to be talking so much shit to him.
Oh,
on
yeah.
the field,
Oh, yeah.
in his face. Oh, they got to be giving it to him so bad.
Uh-huh.
There's probably
getting
so
pissed.
many jokes.
Oh my gosh,
I-
it's terrible for him. Like he's got to be just getting.
He's living through
frustrated.
hell. And, at the end of the day, he's like, I am making much more money than
Good,
you.
he deserves it. He deserves getting crushed by
Yeah.
somebody, some defensive lineman, TJ Watt. Crush him. Like he deserves it. He's a terrible human being.
It is. So I have Tennessee getting the upset here. Keenan Allen anytime touchdown. We talked about it. He's been killing it. Possibly, most likely no Eckler. We'll see. We don't know. So if Eckler doesn't play, give me that Keenan Allen anytime
He ain't
touchdown.
gonna play. Eckler's not gonna play.
I don't
Yeah.
think so.
You guys following all this running back stuff?
There's so
league?
much. I
It's,
feel like it's like more. It's like worse this year than any other
The
year.
NFL filed a grievance against the Players Association for
Yep.
exaggerating injuries.
I saw that too.
And now Eckler, they said, yeah, we don't know when he's coming back. Sorry.
That's-
And he wanted a new contract. He might not come back for 8 weeks. Who knows?
Right. We don't even know what's happening with Jonathan Taylor still. We might not even see him
They
still.
haven't even gotten an update on him.
No.
Right.
They
He's
haven't
just
even said like, yeah, trending in the right direction.
No, nothing.
yeah. And then my last surprise, I have Dalton Kincaid anytime touchdown. I'm taking it this week.
Hey, Dawson Knox is
I'm
nursing an injury.
I'm taking it this week. Dalton Kincaid has gotten better the last 2 weeks. More and more output. I think this is the week where he scores his first career touchdown in Washington. Take it to the bank.
The odds for Dalton Kincaid scoring a touchdown this
Plus-
game right now are at plus 300.
Yeah, plus 300. If you were to put $10 on this bet right now, you would come away with $215
The one that you put together.
just now. That
What-
three-legger.
So
That's
Dalton Kincaid anytime touchdown.
Dalton Kincaid touchdown, Keenan Allen touchdown, and Tennessee
money line.
money line.
That's your parlay of the week. That's
My
a
parlay of the week.
that's a swing.
That's a swing. I'm playing with
I think I would take each one of those props and put them individually. But
Yeah.
hey, why not? If you feel good about them, make that prop.
Listen, man, I almost won on my touchdown prop last week. I said it on the show. And the only player I didn't get was Stephon Diggs. I had T. Higgins. Who else did I have? I had
We saw a Latavius Murray touchdown on Sunday,
Yeah.
but didn't see a Stephon Diggs touchdown.
Stephon Diggs didn't hit. I had T. Higgins. That was part of the parlay. T. Higgins hit. Who else was it? I think I had a Devontae Smith touchdown in there as well. And I'm thinking of the last one. I'm drawing a blank right now. But there was another guy. I went 3 for 4. But Stephon Diggs, the one guy who I was like, surefire, this guy's going to catch a
It's always
touchdown.
one.
He didn't get it.
It's always one.
So-
you could have 100 parlay and you'd hit 99. It's always just one. You always lose by one.
One dud.
Yeah.
Always.
I don't know. I kind of like that. I don't know. It might be a little crazy.
That's a good one. Hey, you know what?
We're playing with fire. So, we're taking it to the bank. We're getting paid.
That's right.
Let's get paid.
Let's get paid.
Yeah. Any other games that stand out? We have Houston at Jaguars. The game I'm looking at is Pittsburgh and Las Vegas. Pittsburgh is plus 2.5 underdogs to Vegas.
Vegas didn't look too good last week.
They didn't.
I mean, granted, I still think the Buffalo Bills are a top 5, top 7 team in the league. And so I think there's a big talent drop off between Buffalo and Pittsburgh, but I don't know. I like that there too. I wouldn't be surprised to take Pittsburgh money line here.
The over-under is set at 43 too. That's also kind of. I might take the under there.
Yeah, I think so too.
I don't know. That's just me.
Yeah, both teams could just run that game right into the ground.
Can we take the odds for it aren't out yet, but defensive touchdown by Pittsburgh anytime?
Yeah.
Can we take that in?
What's the over/under on Patriots Jets?
Patriots Jets.
That has to be an under.
It is.
It's gotta be like
I think
39.
we just had it. I think it's 37.
37.
There's no way. There's just no way. There's no way. There's no way either team.
This
can
is
put
going to
20
be
points.
like 17-14.
Oh my gosh, it's gonna be terrible.
I'm hammering the under.
There's just no way.
If you didn't pick up New England Patriots defense this week, what are you doing?
You beat me, and you bid me.
I
in
put
2 weeks.
I put fab dollars on New England Patriots defense this week.
I did. Yeah, I put 5, and I was like,
I think I put $10 down.
Yeah, you beat me in Jules's redraft league.
I
was
put
like,
$10 down on New England Patriots defense, and I do not regret it.
No, I don't blame you. It's just spending $10 or more on a defense. Like I can't. I personally can't, but I understand why you did.
You gotta win this week.
But Dallas, if
Winners
Dallas,
win.
if Dallas defense were to get dropped, I'm spending. That's probably the only defense I would spend like a pretty penny.
Okay, in all honesty, if Dallas's defense gets dropped, you would have to be betting at least $41. I'm putting 40% fab on Cowboys defense. There's my bold take of the week.
Bold take of
They're
the
too
week.
good for the offense. The offense doesn't have to try.
Right.
So Casey, are you a Bills fan, or what do you consider yourself?
I consider myself a Bills pessimist.
Okay.
At this point where I'm at I'm just like football in general at this point.
That's how we feel. I mean,
a lot of Bills fans are just too much.
we've talked about it on the show.
Eternal optimism, like every move the team makes, 100% it's going
Super
to
Bowl.
work out. Perfect draft pick, like perfect signing. Every single thing that they do, like they're just fans will never criticize them for anything.
Yeah, I'm very critical on the Bills, especially with like the draft picks. Like this Kyrie Elam draft pick, this is like one of the things
I am the known
Yeah.
amongst my friends. I am the known Brandon Beane hater.
Really?
I think Brandon Beane is a terrible drafter. He's fantastic with the money.
Negotiator,
and the
yes.
Trades.
100% the trades, absolutely fantastic. He's a terrible drafter.
We took a look at their last, like all of his drafts, and we stacked them up against each other. There's a lot of misses.
This was a big draft for him this year. If these players start to pan out, we can kind of move from that narrative, sort of. But I mean, hey, Dalton Kincaid looks good so far. Osiris Torrance looks freaking solid so far.
Sure.
But we got to see how a whole season lasts before I can make a judgment on him. But if these draft picks don't pan out this year, especially in a league where you see more and more rookies being impact players right away, that's when I'm gonna start questioning things and be like,
Definitely.
it's time to move on.
I'm just so into like draft stuff now.
Yeah.
And draft analysis. I kind of root for whoever is drafting the right way.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. You guys want to go into Bills a little bit, or
We could touch on it. Probably, usually when they lose, we'll have like its own segment.
We'll have a rant.
We usually rant, but I mean they won. I have nothing to complain about.
They had probably their best game in the last 10. If you're retracting back to last season as well.
It doesn't seem something seems off.
Yeah.
They don't seem right. I don't know what it is. Something doesn't seem right.
I listen to Jim Rome quite a bit, and he made for whatever reason with the Bills lately, it just things have been like slightly off kilter. Like they keep running into things, shooting themselves in the foot. Not even beyond the game, but just like things in general. Like Takeo Spikes, did you guys see that?
Yeah.
Oh, he got screwed over
stuffed-
with the seats.
He got stuffed over behind the upper rafters, so he couldn't even see half the field. I mean, is that how you're gonna treat a Buffalo Bills Wall of Fame
Legend of the game?
He
Yeah.
left early.
He did because he couldn't see anything, and I don't blame him. I don't blame him one bit.
No.
And then the whole thing with Terry Pagula and like those words that came out,
Something isn't right.
everything is just slightly off kilter for them, and I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what to make of it, but I get that exact same feeling.
It's I don't know. I mean, Kim Pagula, we don't really know what's going on with her.
Mystery.
It's a mystery. DeMar Hamlin hasn't played. I mean, that's more of like, I think
That's a numbers game.
It's a numbers
I
game.
think it's like a talent thing.
Yeah.
If Hyde and Poyer are out there, they're playing every snap.
Right. If Taylor Rapp were to go down, I think he would fill in that role pretty easily.
And that's the thing is like Taylor Rapp can play safety and corner, where DeMar Hamlin's only limited to safeties. So obviously you want a guy like that out there. So I think it's more of like a numbers game. He really isn't that good. But people are trying to say like, ESPN always comes out with that graphic and they're always like
the same one every
no
week.
more DeMar Hamlin.
Regurgitated,
Oh. Tears.
Or like when I
Broken
see
heart.
Adam Schefter, like DeMar Hamlin will be inactive for this game. I'm like, yeah, there you go. There's the news.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, but I do agree there is something off. But I'm hoping, the Bills fan inside me is just hoping everything works out, and it's more of like mis-speculation or over-speculation or something like that. But, I'm hoping everything pans out. If it's, anything personal, that's not threatening to the organization, then, hey, life happens. But, I mean, you never know. You really don't know.
Yeah.
All that stuff with, like, Washington happened where, Dan Snyder treated his employees like shit and then was having, like, strippers in the clubhouse. I don't know. Like stuff like that. If that stuff happened, then I'm like, all right. Like, there's something bad. This is bad. But, I mean, we'll see. We'll definitely see. It's definitely a lot of, like,
It's definitely getting hard for me, like all the draft whiffs. I think that it's getting hard.
They
for
pile
teams
up
to
like
root
Kyrie Lim, like we just said.
for. Right, like you drafted a corner in the first round and he doesn't even play.
right.
So like
He's a
wasted
weekly
pick.
inactive.
Like
You can't miss on the first rounders.
When I die, my friends might engrave on my gravestone that we picked that Singletary right before Terry McLaurin.
Yep.
You know, like that's like what my friends know me as. Like that's my slogan. Like, we drafted Singletary over Terry McLaurin. Like Zach Moss, wasted 3rd-round pick.
Didn't we pick somebody in front of DK too? DK Metcalf, right?
Yeah, it was Cody Ford. Believe it or not.
That's a whole different story. The Cody Ford thing I could go into for like 15 minutes. So like when they draft Cody Ford, and I won't take up too much time, but like they draft Cody Ford, they go on the draft thing, and Brandon Beane goes, "Yeah, we love this guy so much. Like we would have traded up in the 1st round if we had to get this guy because we love him so much." But the Carolina Panthers traded 1 pick in front of the Bills and took another offensive tackle. So, like, if you really wanted him that bad, you should have traded up and got him. And they let somebody else get another offensive lineman in front of them. And, like, this year, I mean, Kincaid, like, I get it. You want to go for a Kelsey, but, like, rookie tight ends don't really do anything.
Yeah.
I don't even know if he's the best tight end in the class.
Yeah.
You know, with Musgrave and Green Bay, I think Musgrave's really good. He's super athletic. Laporta's having a good start.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, not only did you take a tight end in the 1st round, like a position that doesn't really fire right away, and you took one when it's a deep class. Like, you could have taken any of the 3 guys, and, you know, you would have been fine with Josh Allen. And then, like, you just continue to run out Gabe Davis as your 2nd wide receiver. You just draft somebody, like...
Make a move for Mike Evans.
Somebody.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to waste draft capital if you don't want to, but there's a couple guys in the draft that I like Trey Palmer, if you guys know who that is. The Buccaneers. He ran a 4.3. He went in like the 6th round. Like, you're telling me a guy at the 4.3.
Puka Nacua.
Right.
Puka Nacua went in the 5th, right?
You can't stick one of those guys in the slot, you know, and just to eat some targets. You're signing Deontay Hardy. Like, what are you doing? Get somebody. They haven't hit on one receiver in the draft. I guess you can consider Gabe Davis a hit because it was a 4th or 5th round.
But he hasn't lived up to his expectations.
Right. He's just there when Diggs is double covered and he beats somebody deep every once in a while.
And hopefully he catches the ball because,
Right,
he's
hopefully he
had
catches the ball.
drop issues.
Right. So, like, you're running him out there. Like, get Josh some help.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to get on to the good part of the show, the fantasy football segment. We're going to go over start, sits, and sleepers. If you're able to get, now the fantasy drafts are over, just give us like a little like bit of an overview of like the fantasy football kit, if you're able to.
Yeah,
if not,
absolutely, yeah, for sure. So the fantasy kit, we're done. So all your drafts are done. We're into the season now. So what we do is it's more just person to person. Like, we'll have people text us and be like, who should I play this week? Who should I pick up? Who should I be looking to get?
Mm-hmm.
So I have written down on my show sheet here, like streamers this week, guys to pick up on waivers, like guys to trade for and things like that.
Yep.
Like, I can get into some of that if you want.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Where do you want me to start? We can go streamers, guys to pick up on waivers, or guys to like trade for, like buy targets.
Do streamers first.
Streamers. I have Russell Wilson this week, 360 yards, 3 touchdowns last week. And he had 50 rushing yards, I think. That's good to see from Russell Wilson that he's rushing a little bit more.
Yep. They almost won.
And they almost won. I hope they play Marvin Mims more. I'm a huge Marvin Mims fan. That's what I wanted the Bills to take. I was all in, like 100% Marvin Mims, end of the 1st round.
I'm glad you said that because
sure.
I've been singing the Marvin Mims bell all offseason.
So let's say you draft Marvin Mims in the 1st round. Like, just trade out for a tight end in the 2nd round, Laporta or Musgrave, and then you got both of them instead of one of them.
See, that's what I wanted the Bills to do. I wanted them to trade up, jump in front of Seattle, and then I wanted them to trade up with Tampa at 19 and to get a receiver.
Right? Yes, 100%. That was the first move.
Yeah.
You let 3 good receivers.
I knew the run
right
was going to
in front
go.
of you. Yes.
Yep. That was like, you're sitting here, Brandon Beane. It's like, how can you not see that? Like, how do you not see that run?
You're more worried about screwing over Jerry Jones in Dallas to get their tight end that they wanted than like getting a number 1 receiver. Like, Zay Flowers is already good.
Right. If the Bills got Zay Flowers, I mean,
imagine the conversation we're having right now in week 3 if Zay Flowers is on the Bills or like Marvin Mims running deep. You know what I mean? I don't want to say Quentin Johnson because he hasn't done anything yet, but like Quentin Johnson's probably better than Gabe Davis.
Yeah.
So like imagine if
Talent
one of those guys
totally,
were and Jigba, any of those guys.
Yeah, I completely agree. I was texting Nico. I was with like my my family, like, and I was sitting there. I was like, 19. Got to trade up with the Bucs right now. You got to do it right now because Seattle.
We were literally going back and
forth. Because like I was looking at Seattle, and Seattle was like, I wouldn't be surprised, and I just didn't think they were gonna get JSN.
Right.
I thought he was going to drop a little bit more, and they're going to get like another guy. They're going to get like either like a Quentin Johnson because you already have Tyler Lockett as like your smaller receiver. But then they went JSN. I was like, oh. And then literally JSN, Zay Flowers, Quentin Johnson.
You knew
I'm
Baltimore and the Chargers needed another wideout.
yeah.
Like, you knew it. Everybody knew it.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I got Wilson this week. We already talked about it. Deshaun. I'm rolling with Deshaun Watson.
Okay.
Like I said, I'm a little bit contrarian in that sense where I think they got to lean on the passing game a little bit more. He's actually been rushing, too. Like, he's been rushing for some first downs.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's a good sign for fantasy. Keep ripping Kirk Cousins out there. If Kirk Cousins is still owned in leagues, which he shouldn't be, just keep starting him out there. I think Alexander Madison is so bad that they can't rush for a touchdown. The only way they're going to score is if they pass. So Kirk Cousins, great guy this week, and then Sam Howell against Bills. I don't think the Bills secondary is anything to really write home about right now.
They're getting gashed by Jimmy G and Devontae Adams
They
last
got
week.
carved up. Oh, my goodness.
Even if the Bills get out to a big lead, Sam
Garbage.
Howell will throw from behind, and he's got good receivers.
Yeah.
He can get you 20 plus if you need
Yep.
if you need a quarterback this week. Josh Kelly, still streaming him. They have a good matchup this week if Eckler plays. Still going with Kelly. They played the Titans last week. Titans have one of the best run defenses in the league.
Yep.
Keep running Josh Kelly out there. Josh Reynolds again. Keep running him out there. If you have Raheem Mostert, and any of the Texans receivers this week.
Nico Collins has been killing us.
100%. I've never seen since I started studying football where a team has a rookie quarterback and they're like, just go throw.
Yeah.
They're not
They're
babying him.
letting
saying, "Go
CJ
ahead
Stroud
and
air
throw."
it out.
Yeah, it's great. Throw 35 times a game. Like,
Well, also their run game has been non-existent.
Abysmal.
Damian Pierce has had 5 fantasy points in each of the last 2 games.
yeah.
Devin Singletary, I mean, we saw him in Buffalo. We know who Devin Singletary is.
Yep.
Come on.
Exactly. So just let him air it out. They're not babying him at all. They drafted him some receivers. Like,
He's 5th or 6th in passing yards, I'm pretty sure. Might even be as high as 4. I know he's like the 4 to 6 range. But
like Tank Dell, Dalton Schultz, those guys, you fire them into your lineup. Tank Dell
Tank
probably
Dell's
only if
been-
you're in like a 12 plus
yeah.
team league. But
yeah. What, Nico, do you have any streamers?
I got some starts this week. Zay Flowers, if you're not starting him already, now is the time to start him. Put him in your lineup. Let him be an every week starter, a set and forget.
Yeah.
If you are still looking for a quarterback and you're on Sleeper, Jordan Love is available in most of your leagues. He is only 61% rostered, and he is currently QB2 through 2 weeks, and he has thrown for 6 touchdowns.
Yep.
3 touchdowns in the last 2 weeks. I mean, this offense seems to be centered around Jordan Love. Go grab him with a sleeper quarterback pick if you need one. If you have a guy like Joe Burrow who you're not very excited about and who you don't want to kind of gamble to see if he'll play on Monday or not, this is the perfect candidate for someone to go grab Jordan Love.
for sure. Don't forget Christian Watson's probably back this week too.
Exactly. So
Anytime
we're going to
you're
see an
getting a
even
receiver
stronger
upgrade.
Aaron Jones, there's a chance he may be back. It's on the slimmer side, but if he comes back, I mean, he's another pass-catching option in that offense. And so, hey, yeah, Jordan Love is one of my big favorites for this week.
If Jones doesn't play, I would even consider Green Bay stacks in like DFS.
Yep,
The
totally.
Saints defense is good, but I would still consider a stack.
Yeah.
Dylan's not that great of a running back. He's going to rush for 3 yards a carry, so they're going to have to throw again. And Saints' run defense is really good.
Yep.
Another one I got is Jordan Addison. Again, we said it last week, and we're going to say it again this week. If he's not in your starting lineup, play him, especially against this Chargers defense. I keep saying it. Chargers are going to have quite the shootout. Yeah. It's going to be quite the shootout this week. So I think it's going to be really high scoring. And Jordan Addison, give me 15 at least in PPR points.
Yeah.
Those are my quick streamers. I don't know if you have any, Mike.
I got a couple right here. Give me Jared Goff versus Atlanta. Jared Goff has been great these past 2 weeks in the Stig redraft. I'm pretty sure I'm going to, if Joe Burrow plays, so my quarterbacks are Burrow and Goff. I think I'm starting Goff either way.
That's fair.
Over Burrow. There's more of a ceiling right now with Goff. Burrow's still nursing that calf injury, and he's probably going to nurse it for a little bit more time. Falcons D hasn't been the most, hasn't been the greatest, so far this season. So give me Jared Goff. I think his rapport with Josh Reynolds has been great. Amon-Ra St. Brown is Amon-Ra St. Brown. He is also awesome. And I think they start, pumping Jahmyr Gibbs with more targets as well.
I hope so.
So give me Jared Goff as a start. For running backs, give me this one's going to be a little bit of an interesting pick, but give me what's his name? Raheem Mostert versus Denver.
Yeah.
Raheem Mostert has been.
I think he's RB5.
He's
right now.
RB5 right now.
Something like that.
Yeah, Denver. Their defense. They have a solid defense, but I think they're going to be more focused on taking away the passing game with Tyreek and Waddle, and I think Mostert's going to rip off a couple nice runs. So give me Raheem Mostert versus Denver, and then for wide receivers, I'm going to have to jump on the Jordan Addison trading with you, man. Jordan Addison has been great. I didn't think he was going to be this good these first 2 weeks, but he has been awesome. And like an honorable mention, I would probably say George Pickens.
Yeah,
George Pickens had 32 points last week, especially if I think Deontay Johnson's on IR, pretty sure. And then last week, Gabe Davis, Stephon Diggs had their way with the Las Vegas secondary. So, and their secondary is not that good. So, Pickens or Addison for my wide receiver is one of my stronger starts. So that's our streamers. What about people to target on the waiver wire?
All right, I got a bunch of them here for you.
All right.
So Jerome Ford, obviously the first one, definitely probably gone in your league at this point.
Yep.
I just threw the name out there just to have it.
Yep.
We talked earlier about trading for him. Craig Reynolds. So Craig Reynolds is going to fill in for Montgomery. David Montgomery in Detroit said his thigh is going to take a couple weeks to heal.
Yep.
They're saying it's like day to day now. I don't know if he's going to like play or not, but Craig Reynolds, you probably don't have to throw more than $10 on him to get him in your league.
Mm-hmm.
Detroit's offensive line is great. If you're somebody that has Barkley or Chubb or one of these guys that's just desperate for running back help, you can definitely go to Craig Reynolds. Pierre Strong.
Yep.
So anytime, and this is just for in general for people listening that play fantasy. So anytime the starter gets hurt and there's this big waiver wire pickup that you got to get, like you got to get Jerome Ford, right? But now we don't know what's going to happen in the offense. We think it's going to be Ford, but we don't know that.
Mm-hmm.
So just take a flyer on Pierre Strong. Pierre Strong's a 4.3 running back. Like he's super fast. He can catch out of the backfield. Doesn't hurt to stash him on your bench just in case. Maybe Ford's not that good. Maybe they don't like Ford as the starter and they want to split backfield or something like that. I personally, I'm not worried about Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt is older. He's not as fast anymore. Pierre Strong's electric.
Yep.
And in the passing game. He's a big guy. Roshan Johnson, if he's not available for the Bears, Roshan Johnson.
Yep.
I personally think Chicago's going to figure it out a little bit. The one thing I have seen from Fields that's pretty good is he's actually like involving the running backs in the passing game a little bit. You usually don't see that with rushing quarterbacks. They're not dumping it off. They're just taking it themselves. And Herbert and Roshan have actually started to see some receptions the last couple of weeks. He's got it down to a 2 running back share. Deontay Foreman's gone, not playing, or he's inactive now. They're making him a game day inactive. So Roshan, I think you're going to see it go from, if it's 60-40 down to 50-50, and then it's going to flip to Roshan at some point.
Yeah. All right.
Next guy, I got a ton of them if you want me to.
By all means.
Yeah.
You're giving the listeners some free knowledge right here.
Right. I'm supposed to be like the fantasy guy, so I figured I'd give as much.
Right.
So if you play on Yahoo or Sleeper, you can drop players on your bench that have already played a game that week. So I'm picking up Eric Gray for the Giants this week. Eric Gray is a rookie. He had 2 30-plus reception seasons in college. He's a really good pass catcher out of the backfield. He's not fast. I think he's like a 4.6, 4.7 guy. But it's worth a shot. I don't think Matt Breida is – we've done the Matt Breida thing before. Yeah. Matt Breida is not going to get fed like Barkley. It's not going to be Matt Breida. Who else did they have? Brightwell? Brightwell's the other guy.
Yeah,
I think so, yeah. Gary Brightwell.
He's just a guy.
He's a jag.
Just a random
He's
guy.
a dude playing
so you
football.
might as well take a chance on Eric Gray, the rookie. If he doesn't get the ball, I'm just dropping him on Yahoo and Sleeper.
Yeah.
Right.
I probably wouldn't pick him up on ESPN to burn the roster spot, but I'm going to pick him up, see what happens, and then just burn him for somebody else if I have to.
Gotcha.
Tajay Spears, if he's available, you got to have Tajay Spears on your team. Almost splitting work with Derrick Henry. Rico Dowdle. You guys know Rico Dowdle?
Dallas
back up in Dallas.
Rico Dowdle. So he had like 8 carries last week. He's not startable yet, but if they're going to be blowing teams out, he's going to be getting the ball. Tony Pollard has never had a full season in the NFL as a starting running back.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So let's bet on the next guy just in case.
Yep.
Sean Tucker. Sean
Yeah,
Tucker,
That's my
Syracuse
guy.
Yeah,
That's
Western
my
New York.
guy.
Sean Tucker. I'm personally not a huge Rashad White fan. So
Okay.
going into this week, Rashad White is dead last in the NFL in rushing yards over expected.
And that was the same thing from last year, too.
Correct. So
Mhm.
now, like, the sample size is starting to grow, and it's like, hey, Rashad White might not be that good. He gets all the touches. So last week he had like 5 catches. If he's going to keep catching the ball, then, you got to keep starting him. But, there's a chance that he's just maybe not that good.
Right.
So bet on the next guy. Sean Tucker's the clear backup. He's been getting the carries behind him. So
And
Sean
Chase
Tucker.
Edmonds just went on IR, too, which
Oh, did
kind of,
he?
which frees up some murkiness.
Murkiness.
Next guy I got, Kendry Miller.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a huge Kendry Miller fan.
This
I
is a
think
huge
he's
week
super
for him.
explosive.
I think
love
he's
Kendry
starting
Miller.
this week. I'm pretty sure.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Jamal's out. Taysom Hill, they just said, has like a leg injury now. They have nobody. Tony Jones is like a big plotter.
By
goal line.
default.
Yeah.
Right, 100%. Yeah, like Tony Jones, you're just, if you play him,
Tony
you're just
Jones.
hoping he falls into the end zone.
Yep.
I prefer, guys with upside. I think Kendry Miller is a really good player. I don't know what's going on with all his injury stuff, but I'd take a shot on him. I wouldn't start him this week. I would just play it out and see what happens. But
Yeah.
maybe if you're looking for like a cheap DFS running back,
Mm-hmm.
that's a good idea. Chuba Hubbard.
Yep.
So Miles Sanders he's like bottom 10 in rushing yards over expected. So for me, I have Chuba Hubbard in almost every league. I'm not a huge Miles Sanders guy. I acknowledge that Sanders is a pretty good player, but when you're going from the best offense in the league or top 2 or 3 with the Eagles and you're going down to the Panthers and you're going with a rookie quarterback, there was never a chance that he was going to be the same running back. Just by default. Like
Yep.
you have a worse offensive line, a worse quarterback. Like there was just no chance that he was going to be, a stud this year. He's doing okay, but I don't think if you have him on your team that you're really happy with him yet.
Mm.
Chuba Hubbard got all the garbage time in the game the other day on Monday night. He's getting some receiving work. So Chuba's involved. It's not like he's a pure handcuff. He might even have some standalone value if you're that desperate during bye weeks and stuff. Devon A-Chain. Devon A-Chain, if you guys don't have him in your league, I would go on your phone right now, pick him up right now.
Yeah.
Everybody on Miami is getting hurt. I think Salvon Ahmed is hurt now
Yep.
too.
Mhm.
Everybody's getting injured. A-Chain can catch passes. He's a 4.3 runner. He's a league winner.
Bless
Bless
you.
you.
Sorry. Thank you.
A-Chain is a league winner. If pick him up, stash him on your bench. You don't want to be one of these. You don't want to be in your fantasy league and it comes and he has a 80-yard touchdown this week, and then everybody's scrambling to the waiver wire to pick up A-Chain, and you already have him. You know what I mean? You don't want to be the guy that doesn't have him. So get him now. There's no better feeling in fantasy than when a guy breaks out and he's just sitting
You
on
already
the bench.
called it. Yeah.
So the other day, I'm just gonna throw in a quick story real quick.
Okay.
So the other day, I'm in this big sleeper league, right? And it's Monday night at like 7:00. So they say Amari Cooper is not going to play. So I pick up Peoples-Jones.
Yeah.
So then they come out and they're like, "Yeah, Amari Cooper's going to play."
I was so pissed, dude. 'Cause I benched him.
Right. So on sleeper, like I was saying, you can drop guys that haven't played. So I'm just cycling bench guys, and I drop Peoples-Jones, and I dropped him for Jerome Ford, like 30 minutes before the game started. I picked up Jerome Ford 30 minutes before the game started.
Oh,
What do you
my
know, man?
goodness.
What do you
That's some
What do you know
inside
that we don't know?
information.
Right. So
You got the script for the week early.
But people don't know that rule.
Right.
You can that rule in Yahoo and Sleeper that you can do that. So
Yep.
even next week on Monday night, Rams, Bengals, the Bengals. If you have someone on your bench that sucked that you don't want anymore, pick up Chris Evans.
Yeah.
Mixon goes down, you got a starter. At worst, you just drop him when waivers run the next week anyway. Other guys I'll just name a few. Sorry, I'm going too long.
Oh, no,
No, this is exactly what we called you in for.
Elijah Dotson, if you're in a 14
Chargers?
plus, 14 plus undrafted guy, made the roster. We don't know when Eckler's coming back. He had 2 catches out of the backfield last week. You want guys that can catch passes. Kelly had no catches last week.
Yeah.
Just a guy. You got to keep an eye on. Like I was saying a couple minutes ago, when the starter goes down, we don't know what's going to happen after that. So
You really
take
don't.
a shot.
Yeah.
Take a shot. Chris Rodriguez for the Washington Commanders. Chris Rodriguez,
Rookie.
yeah, rookie. They hate Gibson.
They hate him.
They
Oh
hate-
yeah,
they
no,
just
it's
hate
it's
Antonio Gibson.
yeah.
The touches, I think I saw, are 35-5 Robinson to Gibson. So at this point, if Robinson goes down, you're going to be seeing some Rodriguez.
Yeah.
Devontae Parker, if you need receiver help, I think he had 10 targets last week, played 100% of snaps. It's a good waiver wire guy, bye-week fill-in guy to have on your bench.
Mac Jones has been throwing it way more than years past, too. So.
I want to say Mac Jones leads the NFL in air yards right now.
And he has I think he's top 5 in total passing yards right now. It's unreal. I think he's
up there,
either 5 or 6.
It's
definitely
crazy
up there.
when Matt Patricia is not your offensive coordinator.
Yeah. Bill O'Brien's not a slouch, man. I will say this, but I'm still not a big Patriots guy.
No. But at least the Patriots, there are startable New England Patriots in fantasy football.
Finally. Yeah.
There's a few of them. Hunter Henry. There's a few New England Patriots you can start in fantasy now.
Yeah.
And then I got Jaden Reed. Reed is a rookie on the Packers.
2 touchdowns last week.
Jaden Reed's more speculative. I think Christian Watson's going to come back this week, so I don't think Jaden Reed will do much. But, yeah, he did score 2 touchdowns last week. He was by far the best receiver at the Senior Bowl this year.
Yeah.
In my opinion, the guy that's good at the Senior Bowl, if you guys follow draft stuff, always ends up being good.
Yeah. Zay Flowers was also one that shined during the Senior Bowl, and look at him now.
Like Debo Samuel.
Yep.
I think was Cup there.
I think.
Cup was a
all
name.
These guys that are showing out at the Senior Bowl always do well. Like Josh Allen, even Josh Allen at the Senior Bowl was good. All these guys that do well at the Senior Bowl always end up good. Tank Dell, we talked about earlier on Houston.
He had a great game last week.
A lot of these are for deeper leagues, just names to throw out
there.
Josh Downs on the Colts.
Yep. I have him in the Stigs League.
Mm-hmm. So Josh Downs, he's pretty much the locked-in slot receiver. Yeah. R.I.P. Isaiah McKenzie.
Yeah.
Josh Downs. I think he's like a 4-5 runner. He's not slow. He's got decent speed.
Yeah.
I liked him coming. I wanted the Bills to draft him.
I would have been okay with him getting drafted in the first round by the
slot
Bills.
Guy.
Ended up going in the 3rd to the Colts.
He's an early declare, which means a lot to me as a draft guy. Coming out early, you're probably pretty good.
Yeah.
Hunter Henry, if you don't have him, we just talked about the Patriots. If you're looking for tight end streamers, Cole Turner. Cole Turner is on Washington.
Oh, Washington.
Washington, yeah. So I was picking up Logan Thomas in every league last week. Logan Thomas in week 1 led Washington in targets.
Mm-hmm.
So I picked up Logan Thomas, started him,
smacked.
scored a touchdown, got destroyed.
Oh.
There's no way he's playing this week in concussion protocol. He got destroyed. Cole Turner actually played at Nevada with Romeo Doubs. So they both were a good tandem there.
Yeah.
So he's pretty good. He's not fast or anything. He's just a target eater. If he gets 4 or 5 catches, maybe he gets in the end zone. You could do worse at tight end.
Yeah.
If you're in a super, super deep league, I'm picking him up in some spots. We talked about Kate Otten earlier on the Bucks. Sam Laporta, if you're in a smaller league and he's still available on the Lions. And then Zach Ertz is leading Arizona in targets.
Yep.
So that's what I got. The big takeaway from all the waiver wire stuff, in my opinion, for those people listening, if a running back gets hurt, go pick up the next guy. If a receiver gets hurt, go pick up the second or third guy. Mm-hmm. So usually and this guy that I follow that we talk about at Player Profiler is it's called the law of conservation of targets. So Player Profiler, the guy that I follow, his name's Matt Kelly, and he coined this term. So there's the top guy in the targets, and there's the next guy. When one guy gets hurt, the target's got to go somewhere.
Right.
So if you see, let's say, Josh Reynolds or Amon Ra doesn't play this week, Gibbs is going to get targeted or Laporte is going to get targeted. Target's got to go somewhere. Chiga Kwanko for tight ends if he's still on your waivers. If Burks goes down or Hopkins goes down, you know what I mean? He's the next man up on the target.
Right.
Bowl, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So just play out when you're looking at the waiver wire, just play out how the target's going to shake out or how the touch is going to shake out. Is this guy first on the team in targets? Can he be second? Devontae Parker isn't fun, but he might lead the team in targets every week.
Right.
That's a really good piece of advice for anyone playing fantasy out there. Got to clip that one.
That's a long spiel of waiver wire, guys. I got guys to trade for too if you guys want that.
Let's throw it out there.
Yeah. All right. So trade targets. I'm currently trading for Isaiah Pacheco.
Yep.
I think Clyde Edwards-Helaire maybe 3 touches at most this week.
He's cooked.
He's done.
He's cooked.
Clyde Edwards, he cooked.
He's cooked.
Clyde Edwards is done. I think Pacheco had a super high % of the rushing share. McKinnon is just there to catch passes. It's the Chiefs. Pacheco's a great guy to go get right now.
Yep.
He hasn't scored yet. We talked about that earlier too, actually. We like him to smash this week. So if he goes out and smashes this week, you're not going to be able to get him anymore.
Right.
So go get him right now. Travis Etienne, my bold prediction this year was that he finishes as a top 5 running back. Tank Bigsby got almost no touches last week. Guys are dropping Tank Bigsby everywhere in fantasy leagues. I see all over my leagues this week. Etienne had 4 points last week, I think, 4 or 5. If you're in PPR, it was maybe like 5 or 6. Go get Etienne now while you can. Joe Mixon is one of the leaders this year in rushing yards over expected. So the Bengals have been terrible, but Mixon's rushing, 13 times for 60 yards and 4 catches. You'll take that on a team that's not doing well. When they start doing well, he might start scoring some touchdowns. Go get Christian Watson. He hasn't played yet. Get him before he blows up on the Packers. So Christian Watson was probably my number 1 highest drafted player this year. I love him. He's super explosive. He's going to get a lot of long touchdowns. I'm big on him. James Conner is actually a funny one. Like, James Conner is just that typical plotter running back.
Always around.
Always
around, relevant.
Just never gets injured. Like, I was looking at the data today, and he's like top 5 in rushing yards over expected. Or it's top 5 in yards before contact.
Mm-hmm.
So, which means randomly, like, the Arizona offensive line is playing pretty good, I
Yeah.
guess. If he's getting all those yards before contact. And then he was also top 5 in yards after contact, which means he's making people miss. So I guess James Conner is like a good running back right now. I don't understand how, but if you need running back help, James Conner is a really good guy to go get right now.
Yep.
Maybe Kyler Murray comes back in 2 weeks, and the offense is good.
Yeah, you never know.
Never know,
I mean,
man.
they're setting themselves up. I mean,
They're not
0-2,
playing
but-
bad, too.
Yeah,
they're playing
no,
good
they're
behind,
in games.
like better than expected behind Josh Dobbs.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, if you need, there's running back is just a wasteland.
Yeah.
So if you got to go get a running back, go get James Conner. He'll get you 10 every week.
Yeah.
Today's day and age, that's what you need in running backs.
Right, exactly. I'm still going to get David Montgomery.
Yeah.
I'm still going to – their offensive line is good. They're going to be a good offense. I'll take 60 yards and a touchdown every week from him if you need it. Jonathan Taylor, go
Why
for
not?
it. Why not? Breece Hall.
Yeah.
Go get Breece Hall.
Had less than a point last week.
I know people in my leagues are not ready to sell, but they're getting there.
Yeah.
Get Breece Hall. Breece Hall could be one of the best running backs in the NFL.
You got to
by the end of
think
the year.
he's going to be the focal point of the Jets' offense this year at this point.
How do you not give him the ball that much?
4 touches.
Without Aaron Rodgers.
Do you think that was like a greater scheme to like make sure he doesn't get hurt for the rest of the season because of how good Cowboys defense is, or am I just like reading too much into it? there's got to be some reason why he only had 4 touches against the Cowboys.
You're recovering. We're just gonna not play you this week so you don't get hurt again. Still, Michael Parsons doesn't kill you.
Literally.
Before I finish this, I'll throw in if you guys had to sign. If you were the GM of the Jets, what quarterback would you sign? Or trade for?
I would trade for. We're talking about this in my one group chat. Jacoby Brissett.
Okay.
I'm gonna say
Always
Jacoby Brissett.
he's the fill-in. He is the understudy quarterback.
He played. I liked how he played with Cleveland last year better than how Deshaun Watson played.
Fair.
Yeah, I liked Brissett's Browns versus Watson's Browns. That's. I thought it looked better. I thought he controlled it.
I think it was a better product to put out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Brissett's never gonna run a train wreck offense.
Right. So
I
say Jacoby Brissett. That's my pick.
I would go through the conservative option here.
Tom Brady.
If I'm Joe Douglas, I'm gonna see what Joe Flacco's doing right now. Already knows the offense, and at this point in time, I think to not cause any more disruption to this team, Zach Wilson is going to be this team's quarterback. I mean, we're only a few years removed from him having number 2 overall draft pick status. Joe Flacco knows the offense, but in the event that Zach Wilson goes down, you want a guy that's just a veteran presence. So, and you know what? You don't have to do it at any cost of a draft pick whatsoever.
Trey Lance, maybe.
That's
Maybe. It wasn't expensive to get him from San Francisco to Dallas. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is going to be playing that much longer, especially with this Achilles that might have shortened his expectancy of how much longer we see of him. And so, I mean, you could develop Trey Lance as the future. Maybe it's just tough because this is his 3rd year already, so it's just kind of hard. But I mean. Why not? I mean, you could see what you got there.
He was inactive last week, right?
Yeah.
They're just playing the long game with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Dak and Cooper Rush, I think, are the active quarterbacks.
Gotcha.
So.
Yeah, I'm number 1, Kyler Murray.
Oh yeah.
Go for it.
Yeah.
Might as well. The defense might be the best defense in the league. You just go for it. Who cares?
Yeah.
If you're an Arizona fan, you're watching Caleb Williams highlights right now.
I think it's time.
And then my next one was Heineke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's pretty good.
He's a winner. What can I say? He's a winner.
The Falcons are 2-0. You know, they're probably feeling good about themselves. You know, Desmond Ridder isn't like a good quarterback, but NFL coaches don't care. Well, we're 2-0. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, Taylor Heineke, and then I want Jameis Winston on the Jets.
Oh, imagine that.
That would be
I
crazy.
want it so bad. I want it to happen. Jameis Winston to the Jets. There's no way they want anything more than like a fifth rounder, fourth rounder.
You know, was a name I was thinking, but they're gonna keep him there because they got a rookie quarterback. But Gardner Minshew was a guy. I could possibly see. But then you see Anthony Richardson go down with the concussion, and it's like, all right, kind of need a guy like that behind a rookie. So.
Yeah. No, I love Jameis.
Yeah.
I freaking love Jameis.
Eating W's, man. Eating them W's.
He's got the blend of, like, if you're starting Zach Wilson, you're probably going to lose all the time anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, at least with Jameis, there's some upside.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, just go air it out. Who cares? Just chuck it deep to Garrett Wilson 10 times a game. If you're terrible, who cares? You're going to be terrible anyway.
Right.
Like, you're going to suck with Zach Wilson anyway. So you might as well get somebody that can, has some upside.
Yeah.
I agree.
So, and then I'll just round out these trade targets in fantasy. Sorry, I just wanted to, like, break it up.
Yeah.
No, you're good.
Michael Pittman. Go get Michael Pittman. We talked about that earlier. If anybody's selling A.J. Brown right now, I'm buying A.J. Brown for sure. I don't know if anybody is, but, 2 dud weeks so far. Hasn't scored yet. Devontae Smith scored the long touchdown last week. Philly's going to be in a lot of competitive games, I think, this year. They're going to have to throw. I would say for sure A.J. Brown, go get him if somebody's willing to sell. He's one of those rare guys that can beat you deep. He can run after the catch. He's big. He's physical. I love A.J. Brown. Shout out to him. He's a baseball guy, if anybody didn't know that.
That's interesting. That's a fun fact.
Drafted out of high school, baseball.
I did not know that.
He signed to play baseball at Ole Miss and then quit baseball.
For football, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He said baseball was too boring.
Damn.
Terrible swing, but he hit the ball super hard. If you look it up, you can find videos of him on, like, you know what, like, PBR is?
Yeah.
There's, like, videos of him at showcases and stuff.
Oh, that's awesome.
Calvin Ridley, Chris Godwin's another one, and I'm buying Jackson Smith-Njigba right now.
Yep.
Because he's
That's
probably
a good one.
sitting on someone's bench.
Totally.
No one wants to start him right now. I'm still going and buying him.
He's gonna erupt at some point.
Yeah, at some point.
Yeah.
So whoever's team he's on, they're not starting him.
No.
Which means he's available. Like, if you're not in my starting lineup, you're available.
Yep.
Right. That's fair. Alrighty. Well, thank you, Casey. I mean, I ate that all up. I mean, that was great. That was,
like I said, free knowledge. Like we made this joke a couple weeks ago. It pays to be on the Big Yak podcast because we were giving out free plays and they all hit.
Right.
And so if you're listening and you take the information that comes off this show, you're gonna win. That's
right.
Simple as that. You're gonna win. You're gonna make some money. Like, yeah.
Yeah. Alrighty. Where are we at for time? We're almost at 9 o'clock.
Yeah, we
How long do you guys usually run?
Like hour to hour 30. So
we're
I think
sitting
we're like,
I
at
can go all day.
you go all day?
Go fantasy talk, I can go all day.
24-hour podcast.
we're at 80 minutes for total time. So yeah, that's right on par with our normal episode.
Do we want to get into the tiers?
Oh
Right?
yes.
Okay.
I've been licking my chops for this.
Okay.
So this week I have put together the first iteration of Nico's quarterback weekly tier list, and I'm going to call it the overreaction tier list because there are some names I'm just going based off of last week and the week before, and I already have a tier list brewing. So this isn't your everyday classic tier list. This isn't no S, A, B, C, D, E, F, none of that. I got groups of guys. They're not in numbered order. They're just grouped together in tiers. So when you look at these tiers, these are guys that are just grouped together. So we're going to start from the bottom and go up. Starting at painfully boring to watch. Give me Jimmy G, Zach Wilson, Bryce Young, Kenny Pickett, and Desmond Ridder. The only time you're going to see these guys is going to be red zone when they're in the 10-yard line. That is the only time I've seen these guys play, and that is the only times I want to see those guys play.
You might not even see them.
Exactly.
You guys watch Red Zone Sundays?
I do, yeah.
So you'll be watching Red Zone, and I'm like sitting with my buddies, and it'll be like, have they showed?
Oh,
the
yeah, this
Jets
game is on,
or
yeah.
It's been 45 minutes. It's 1:45. Have they showed any Jets highlights?
They've been sitting there between the 20s the entire game. Up next, I got overstayed their welcome, as in their welcome to the NFL. Derek Carr, Russell Wilson, and Ryan Tannehill. I don't care that Russell Wilson had a good week last week. He overstayed his welcome. He's done. Everyone in this tier list, hang him up. I'm sick of seeing you.
Sick of seeing you.
Up next, have you tried putting it in rice? Deshaun Watson and Justin Fields. What's going on? Both those guys look broken out there.
Unplug it, plug it back.
Literally, have you tried turning it on and off again, putting in rice? We got to do some troubleshooting here. Up next, now we're going to start getting into the green a little bit. Showing promise. So these are all young guys that have really performed well and kind of outperformed their expectations so far this week. So that's Anthony Richardson, Jordan Love, C.J. Stroud, Sam Howell, and Mac Jones. Mac Jones, yes, you're crawling up the tier list. If this was 1 year ago and you would have told me that Mac Jones was halfway up the tier list, I would have been shocked. I wouldn't have believed you that I would have put that there. Up next, this one's a little bit of a hot take given the players in here, but career resurgence, ? Baker Mayfield, Geno Smith, Jared Goff, and Joshua Dobbs, baby. He's having a little bit of a career renaissance, showing off his dual threat ability there. That man in Arizona can ball, and he has a pretty fun TikTok.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen him on TikTok, he's got a fun TikTok.
What does he post?
He posts essentially get ready with me videos or day in the life as an NFL player.
Yeah, he's active.
He's a cool dude, and he
Day in the life of an NFL quarterback / aerospace engineer.
yeah.
Yeah, he is smart as hell. I forgot the.
Career resurgence. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
Moving on to doesn't need to be special. These guys are very good at what they do, and that is being game managers. Dak Prescott, Brock Purdy, Kirk Cousins, Matt Stafford, and Daniel Jones. They have enough offense around them to not have to be the most important guy on the field. I told you there's some takes on here.
Daniel Jones, I don't know.
Daniel Jones doesn't need to be special. I think he's good up there.
I think he needs to be special because they don't have a lot.
Well, you know what? Yeah.
They don't have a lot to work with. That's just me. I don't know. I know they had their season last year, but
hey, there are some takes. We can debate it in the comments and whatnot. But up next are not worried. These are guys that haven't had the start that some people have expected them to have. So it's kind of the opposite of showing promise. I'm not worried about these guys. These guys are studs. When you put this extrapolated across the whole season, it's not going to be what it's looking like. And that's Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert. Jalen Hurts has been getting a lot of slack over the last couple weeks, and I'm not worried about him at all. And Trevor Lawrence. Next up, the most accurate quarterbacks in the NFL. If you go right now and sort quarterbacks by completion percentage, you're going to see Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson.
Those
are the two most accurate quarterbacks in the NFL right now. I don't make the rules. Those are the stats. And lastly, indisputably him. That's right. Dolphins fans, I'm putting Tua right up there with Patrick Mahomes to start the season. I don't care what anyone says. Tua's been him. And I don't care if people say that's also because Tyreek Hill's there. That's also because they have the fastest offense in the NFL. Don't matter. When Tua is healthy, he is him. And that's all I'm going to say. That is the first iteration of the quarterback tiers list.
All right. I like it. I mean, if I had to throw some names, I'd say Kirk Cousins. There's a couple iterations of Kirk Cousins tier list. So there's Kirk Cousins, Jimmy Garoppolo, Ryan Tannehill.
Those are Kirk Cousins and variants, right?
The variants of Kirk Cousins. And yeah, no, I agree with the Tua and Patrick Mahomes thing. Just Tua is an MVP.
It's a two-legged MVP race right now.
He's an MVP candidate right now.
I think I saw on FanDuel, Tua has the highest odds right now.
Him and Mahomes, I think, are both at plus 400.
Yeah. But yeah, that was fun. I like that. I like that a lot. I don't. Unfortunately, I don't have a tier list ready for you guys, but next week I'll have one brewing.
You guys been following all the Tua off-season training and stuff like that?
It's got a little yoked.
Jiu-jitsu.
We talked about that on the show where he's been learning how to fall. He's taken the time to learn how to fall correctly.
And then the other day, or against the Chargers in Week 1, he had one play where he evaded the rush, stepped up to the line of scrimmage, and threw a pass 30 yards downfield.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't know if it was PFF or his trainer or somebody posted a video of Tua, them working on it at practice, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we just worked on that at practice for like 3 hours."
Yeah.
So whatever they're doing, they're like practicing.
He's got like
whatever.
the Karate Kid like wax on, wax off strategy. If you're practicing one throw for 3 hours, I mean that's rigorous.
I love McDaniel.
Yeah.
Oh, he's great.
He's a genius.
Mm-hmm.
I saw they run motion like 10% more than any other team. And
That's smart.
Posted a video of Tyreek Hill in week 1 going in motion every time, and not one motion was the same.
Well, it helps quarterbacks too because it reveals the defense to them and it helps break the game down and slow it down for them.
Yeah, for sure. No, it's awesome. I love just watching what they do.
Yeah.
You know, we're in Buffalo. I'm not going to say I'm like rooting for Miami or anything, but you know, it's just fun to watch.
We've said it
Can't deny
before.
their
We'll say it
success.
again. Like, you hate that you love to watch them. That is how I feel about the Miami Dolphins. They're such a fun team to watch, and I hate that they're in the AFC East.
Right. You know, and that's like we're just talking about Bill's stuff. You know, Raheem Mostert's like a 30-year-old speedster. Like, why can't we sign somebody that runs 4.3? It's not that hard.
Right.
Or a receiver that's fast and put a Trey Palmer we talked about. Just put a 4.3 guy in motion. You know, they haven't really done anything with Hardy. Hardy's fast.
Right. I thought that was going to be the whole point of why they signed him.
Right. But yeah, no, that tier list was awesome. I love the tier list.
Appreciate it.
Is it going to be updated every week?
Every week, and the tiers will be different, I'm sure. As the weeks progress and as the overreactions keep happening, the tiers will change.
Yeah.
We got to throw some comments out there on the live stream. Like, how long do you think Tua makes it in tier 1?
Yeah, we could.
Over under 2.5.
I think we could like pitch it like so. We're gonna like try to do like TikTok live. You know, once we get the amount of followers, we could do it. I know we could do it on there. YouTube live, I don't know.
We don't get a lot of our traction always comes after the fact.
Yeah, I don't
but
know
to
if
like
we're
the
even-
5 people that loyally tune in every week on the scheduled time, shout out to you guys. We appreciate you.
Throw down like a studio bet. How long does Tua last in tier 1?
Yeah. But yeah, that's all we have for episode 62 of the Big Yak Podcast. Want to thank Casey for coming on the show today. Want to thank Maranto and Emerge. Want to thank Matt Johnson, BICBP Radio Network. Make sure you guys follow us, subscribe, YouTube, TikTok, all that stuff. We're trying to go live on TikTok. We need 1,000 followers to do so, and then also trying to get our YouTube subscribers up to 500 as well. Use our code Big Yak on Underdog. Other than that, see you guys next week for episode 63. Stay safe, and we'll see you guys.
Sweet.
What are you guys going to do when you hit 69?